I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Let's go.
If you're ready to party, let me hear you scream.
You're listening to Locura Radio Show.
Here on Indie Jamz.
Yo, what up, Locura fam? This is DJ Sam Wise here at Locura Radio Show. I'm here with the crew. I got Mike, Val, and Reese in the building. How you guys doing?
We made it.
What up? It's Saturday morning.
We made it.
Late.
I'm lit.
We're late.
Late.
Oh, I thought you said late.
F.
I thought you said lit.
Lit. No.
Late.
We're dying is what we are.
Well, two of you are dying.
It is my fault.
Me and Sam, we feel good today.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
forget
awesome.
both
I
of you.
feel great.
You bailed on us.
I
Are you
feel
kidding
rested.
though?
He's like, I went to sleep.
Listen,
It's
I've
like
been
I'm
dealing
not messing with you two. Good night.
some
Bye.
stomach
I'm going
stuff.
home.
I'm not gonna disclose on air, but that is.
Oh
Old
my
man
god.
rock my world.
Oh, the viejo's got it. What?
Viejo's got the moves, man. Viejo's got the moves.
All right, what did I miss? In
Not a
case
damn
you missed
thing.
it, did we do in case you
We
missed
haven't
it?
started
No,
yet.
not yet. So
Yeah.
basically, we got Aretha Franklin passing away this week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, an icon in the industry for sure. You know, just a tough day. She was in hospice, I believe, right, Mike?
She was in home hospice, and then on Thursday she passed away. She was 76. She was battling pancreatic cancer for a long time. So cancer is one heck of a thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was listening to some interviews like throughout the week. Well, after it happened, not throughout the week. It happened late in the week. But
Well, during the week she was like in and out of, like in health and in bad health, and like they were saying send prayers over.
they were saying that her and
So-
Stevie Wonder were actually planning on doing a album together
Were they really?
within the
What?
next 2
Wow.
months.
I
So
would have liked to see.
Did they
something
record
like that.
anything? Or?
no, I don't think so. At least I'm not sure. Maybe you never know.
Maybe
But
they record a few tracks and maybe release it later. You know,
Maybe.
like Prince when he passed.
Yeah.
And all that music he had in the
like
vault.
Tupac,
She
That's
went.
still coming out with new lyrics.
Did you peep that new
He's
Tupac last
still,
week?
he's still alive. He's still
God.
alive.
Oh, he's alive.
Black violence.
He's alive.
She
I believe that.
she apparently like went in really good spirits though. Like at the end, they said they thought she was doing well because
Yeah.
she was vocal and coherent and saying, having really good conversations. So I mean, I take comfort in that, like, when it's your time, if you can go in peace like that and you have time to say goodbye, like, man, she deserved that. Like, she deserved to,
It's a good way to go.
yeah, to go in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. She's an icon. Yeah, man.
Well, she had some good songs. She had, what was it? She was known as the Queen of Soul. She had
R.E.S.P.C.T.
Respect. Yeah, R.E.S.P.C.T. You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman.
Daydreaming.
Daydreaming. Oh, yeah, was that, didn't Lupe?
Yeah,
Yeah, he covered that.
he covered
Or
that.
sampled it, yeah. Gotcha. That's dope.
Yeah, man. We have a few other things going on in the Orlando area. If you're in the Orlando area, tonight is the Ozone Effect. So if you guys want to come out and do that, where's that at, Reese?
It is at the Sound Bar downtown on 37 West Pine Street. It is the biggest Indie Jamz showcase of the year. It happens every year. It is going to be phenomenal. There will be OGs if you're old like me and you remember SUNY Talent and Jay Terra, but there are also some young and up-and-coming artists, hip-hop artists, R&B artists that will be performing tonight. From what I hear, they got a couple big names that are
Tupac.
coming out.
Tupac video
They're
version.
coming out to show support. The intention was for us to be there tonight, but a chick is hungover, so I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. I'm probably gonna come out. I'm excited. Maybe Swanberger's gonna come out. So for those of you OGs in the Orlando area, he's definitely with the Soliloquist of Sound.
Wait.
They're amazing. But anyways, I'll be out there for sure. And I don't know if you guys, but we'll see. I think Frank is gonna make it out there too. So if you want to meet Frank,
Yes.
he'll be out there with
I'm
us.
going to try if I
Frank
don't
the
get
Tank.
called for work tomorrow.
So come out, meet the Locura crew, and support your local indie artists. Show some love. Like I said, it's one of the biggest shows of the year. So
wait.
we're all gonna
The
be
what
out there.
crew?
Oh my God, Locura.
I was just trying to make sure you know how to say our name.
I'm telling you, we're gonna start cutting
Alright,
this up for the
done.
end of the year.
I know we should start quite a restart.
It
Yeah.
is a restart. I'm dying to hear the compilation at the end of the year, though. Let's see if I improved.
All right, guys, we're gonna get into some more music, and then we're gonna get into our first topic of the day. Remember, 11 o'clock, top of the hour, we have V.Rose interview, so that's gonna be dope. All right, guys, enjoy.
Hey, this is Val, and you're listening to the Locura Radio Show. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Locura Radio Show. See you there.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Locura Radio Show. My name is Michael. I'm here with Val, with Reese, and with DJ Samwise.
What up?
We're
What
super
up?
happy to be here with you this beautiful morning. In case you're not listening or watching us, you can go ahead and listen on the TuneIn app, on our website, of course, locuraradio.com, and Facebook Live for behind-the-scenes antics where people are just talking about hangovers. Today,
Oh
if you haven't noticed yet, today as well, or on our Instagram, if you're not following us there, we do have a giveaway to give away. It's a homework survival pack. So we're going to be giving that away a little later. Has some notebooks, some pens, some
How are they gonna win it?
journals. I don't know yet. I haven't thought about it.
Do you want them to call in? Do you want them?
Do I want them to call in? I don't know. I'm thinking about a question. I'm thinking about something they could do.
Ooh,
Oh,
I-
and a copy of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure double feature because that is very
Ooh,
educational.
That's fancy.
Especially the first one. The first one's very educational.
Fancy,
if you guys remember
fancy.
that.
They're coming out with another one, I heard.
They are with the original guys too. So I don't know if they're
Really?
gonna be like
Keanu
parents.
Reeves is going to do it?
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be the parents or
My
maybe
baby
they have their
daddy?
own adventure. I
Your
mean,
baby daddy?
Keanu Reeves
Keanu
is
Reeves
like,
is,
oh my
does not
God.
age. He's sexy.
He is.
I think
Michael
he's
said he's
sexy.
sexy.
You know,
I do. I think that man is the epitome of sexy. Are you
I don't
kidding me?
think so.
Sexiness.
And he's not my type in any way, shape, or form. But there is something about him that makes
But
me
then
want to
again,
just.
I like Justin Long, so I
Yeah.
have issues anyway.
All right, there we go. So, our
Thanks,
topic,
Mike.
our first topic today. I didn't even do that. Our first topic today is gonna be revenge of the ex.
I'm
So
upset.
What?
I'm upset. So how this came about, we were talking about a week or two ago about Instagram, social media, all that jazz, and how actually a couple weeks ago, and actually a couple months ago, and before that, a few months before that, but you get your ex that kind of comes around or someone you dated that comes around and starts liking your stuff on Instagram all of a sudden. You get like 3 or 4 notifications in a matter of 30 seconds. That's how it happens.
Crazy.
Every 5 seconds, they like something new, like from back, months ago. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I was wondering about it. I'm like, I'm sure I'm not the only one that has this problem. I'm sure everyone in this room,
Yep.
every single person in this room, and every single person listening probably has the same issue. So, for me, I had a question for everybody here, and I'll admit to entertaining these DMs that slide into my inbox. Like I entertain the idea. I'm like, oh, I get attention. Attention's nice,
Right.
getting it once in a while.
Nice.
to feel still
It's
wanted,
nice.
right?
We like attention.
Yeah.
here. So, besides blocking a person, how do you combat the revenge of the ex? Like, besides blocking them.
Well, first you have to decide whether you want to combat the revenge of the ex, because some people like
Exactly.
that. They like that attention,
Yeah.
that every now and then the random
I don't
the
understand
random,
poking.
the random
Do people still
hey
poke?
stranger.
People still poke.
People
I thought
still
poke was
poke.
not a poke.
I get poked sometimes.
I've gotten
Yeah.
waved at.
That too.
That too.
I get
Yeah.
waved, but that's
But-
nicer than poking.
I get the
guess.
hey stranger though, all the time. Hey stranger.
I
Like,
send the hey
bye.
stranger
It's like,
after.
I'm a stranger for a reason.
I say hey stranger to them after they send a message. I'm like, oh hey stranger, how you doing? But I'm not the first one to send that. Like they say, hey,
They
what's
never
up?
have good intentions. That's the thing. They
Well,
just
sometimes
wanna,
I like
they
the
just
not
wanna
good
ruin, Like,
intentions.
your relationships. They just want to
There you
ruin
go.
your
There it
marriage.
is.
Sometimes I don't like good intentions.
Well, then again, you're single.
I like
so.
cruel intentions.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Philpe.
And he says his jokes are not as bad as that.
You don't understand the
Oh my
concept
gosh,
of
I'm
dad
gonna have this
jokes.
conversation
You really
with
don't.
you.
You really don't.
Not right now. I'm still.
Sam,
dead
what-
Oh my
last
God.
night.
What do you feel about this? Why do you think people do this? Why do you think exes come back and start liking stuff or?
Because I think they have the mentality that the grass wasn't greener on the other side, so they try to come back, or they think they want you back until it's like, I don't know. I guess it's chasing
Until they get you back.
what you can't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Get what you can't have.
Agreed.
And then when you go ahead and you actually give them a chance again, or something happens, they get bored, and then they're like, "Oh well, this is why." All right, bye. You know.
Oh yeah.
So
I think it's 95% I want it because I can't have it and you're happy now, and so why weren't we happy? And then I think the other 5% is the grass wasn't greener on the other side. They just want to test the waters. Honestly, it always starts with that test.
It's like they lost you and they see that you're happy and they're like, I wish I could be happy with you.
Do you think they're feeling sentimental and thought about the relationship?
Sometimes.
And that makes you.
Sometimes.
That makes them
it
miss
depends
you.
on the person. Yeah, sometimes they're like, I miss you, or like, you look so happy, I want to be happy with you too. But like in the long run, like, what does that mean? Because what if you decide to cheat on whomever you're with them? Yeah,
but what if you're single? I mean, yeah, for you guys.
I mean, I don't know. They just like to reminisce about like for me, it's always something sexual. It's like, oh, you did the best, da 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 da.
Yeah,
da, da, da.
Val put it all out
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
Accolades, hashtag accolades.
And I'm just saying, like, they're like, oh, I haven't gotten any in a while, so let me hit a Val because she was the, it's like they want to see if you want to be a slut.
For me, it's always, oh, you're the one that got away. I have that syndrome.
I hate
I have
too.
that syndrome with guys. You're the one that got away.
I've
so over that,
I've
though.
said that maybe twice in my life.
You've said that or done that?
No, I've said that to the other person.
I get it.
Because they are. It's like, oh, they're really sweet. But at the
Aw.
time, like, I wasn't ready for a
Mike.
relationship, and not saying like I'm coming into your DMs because I'm ready now. Like, no, it's not like that. It's just we talk, and I'm like, this is why I missed you, whatever. So I think it's a combination of that. What about? Do you feel like it could be an ego boost thing? Like maybe they're feeling down
Sometimes
on the night or on the day, and then they need an ego boost to see if they still got it, or
yes, definitely. They're trying to see if they
I
still
think
got
we're
it.
gonna check all the boxes you're asking.
Yeah, they're all of them.
check all of them. Okay.
Check all of them.
Of course.
What you're saying makes sense.
I think one of the big things is too they just broke up with somebody.
That's
Yes.
And
They're on a
then
rebound.
And they start
on
thinking
the
about all the
They think
relationships
about-
that they had where they had it good. Yep.
It's so hard.
Yeah, I get all that. I get the you're the one that got away. I get the I wasn't ready. It was too much. Like you were all of it in one, and I just wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready.
I get that.
But you know what's
Shut
weird?
up.
Like, I've had that happen to me before, and then they come back to me years later, and I'm not attracted to them anymore.
No, because your tastes change, your
Yeah.
expectations
Isn't that
change.
Things change. Like in your life, like you obviously
Yeah,
change and
and
evolve.
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what I was
Like, what did I
thinking.
see in this person?
Exactly.
So we're talking about skirting the Revenge of the Ex, but we've all gone there again at one point or another with someone. What was
I've
that
done
like, and what's a reason to
I
do that?
all the, I mean, technically, Gio was an ex.
Yeah.
Then he slid up in my DM, and I gave him a chance.
Now you're married.
And now I'm married to him.
Yo, there's like a Revenge of the Ex,
It's like
happily ever after story.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, we're not encouraging the
No,
nonsense
don't
though,
do
so
it.
please
But
don't slide into my
I did
DMs.
it all the time.
It doesn't work for everyone.
It doesn't
No,
work
it
for
doesn't work for
everyone.
everybody.
Don't slide into my DMs. Mike, have you ever accepted the slide?
Have I accepted a slide?
Yeah.
I have accepted a slide like twice,
Uh-huh.
3 times maybe.
I mean,
what
you're still
But just
single, so
because
obviously it
I'm
didn't
still
work.
single.
But why?
Well, not got back into a relationship with them, but accepted the message at least, and then we talk. And
Was it like a booty call thing?
I think once it was
Yeah.
because it was a late night,
And
late night
they
thing.
slid the right way.
Slid it. They
Sam, what
slid it the
about
right
you?
way.
Have you ever accepted the slide?
Oh, Sam.
No.
Yeah. No.
Never?
No.
Have
So
you?
you've never
Please.
entertained an ex?
No.
Aren't you? Sorry, I'm not.
Of course, because he's Sam and he's perfect.
Well,
Is he
entertaining.
doing that
No, I'm
right
not.
now?
No,
Are you
no.
talking about like entertaining?
I'm not.
Like in on social media. What about like in real life? Like has an ex tried to like hit you like a text message? It doesn't have to be social media.
So the reason why I don't do it is because it happened to me once. I got I moved to Miami. That was a really rough time for me. Things just didn't work out. Got cheated on. Whatever.
Yeah.
Then I moved back to Orlando a few years later because I had to stop DJing and everything for this ex. And then she actually came back into my life, and that was the first time I entertained it. And then she came up with a stupid excuse to cheat again. And then, so ever since that, I just...
excuse for cheating.
So,
Right?
so the thing is that if an ex does slide into my DMs, I'll say hi or whatever,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
not gonna.
Like,
I'm not
how's
gonna
your
take
life,
it.
whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not gonna take it to the next level. Like
Yeah.
they want to hang out, that's cool, no problem.
See, and that's where I'm at now too. Like if I entertain it, it's like, hey, like hope you're doing well. I wish you the best. No ill will, whatever. No hard feelings,
Right.
and that's it. And then you just move on.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I feel.
Moving on.
That's how I feel. What about let me me see. What Val, maybe. I'm gonna ask Val.
Okay.
Because you would know this more. Because obviously you have all these accolades that guys are giving you in the DMs. So have you, blocked exes?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what else do you do to combat that?
Well, I say it's inappropriate, or like I'm not into that. Like I'm very direct. Like I don't really sugarcoat much.
Oh, you show them the ring?
No, I just say, listen, MF, I'm married.
Oh,
Can you stop, or
Mr.
else I'm gonna,
Frederick.
Mr. Frederick, I'm gonna block you.
Yep.
And if they continue, then I just block them. They knew it was coming. It's not a surprise.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't get the people that like. I get maybe when as soon as you break up, but like, let's say it's been months or years or whatever,
It's been years
and
sometimes.
Yeah, for me, it's always years. It's like a year plus that they circle back and they're like, damn.
But here's what I would say. Like, I just don't agree that you should automatically block an ex. You don't have to do that.
Right.
Like before you're responding to them, it's like, oh, it's
yeah.
an ex, block it.
Yeah, because I've dated people that are like, have you blocked all your exes? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I don't have time to do that. Like, I don't.
Listen,
for what?
like,
But
I'll
it's
be-
different for men and women. That's what I think what Val's getting at too. Like,
That's
men are really
aggressive.
and nasty
Yeah.
when
They
it
are
comes to
nasty.
going to the exes.
It's
Like,
like
women, they're not coming at you nasty.
Eggplant emojis.
Yeah, they just start. They
Next
start
week on
sending,
Locura Stories.
pictures and stuff like that. It's whatever. I think with women, they feel like maybe you're going through what they're going through. Like with the exes. So they're like, did you block all your exes like I did? Because I know what's going on out there. It's like, no, it's not the same with women. Like, women don't do all that all the time, to be honest. Unless they're really aggressive, like Reese or something like that. Then that's
Listen, Reese has her moments.
Nah, I've had those
I'm
chicks.
not shy.
I've had like some exes, like when I was in a relationship before.
Yeah.
Like hit up the girlfriend at the time and say, and like bring up old text messages that we used to write each other and say, hey, this was recent.
Who are you dating?
Yeah, I've had that.
Really?
Yeah.
The only time that ever happened to me was like once when I was single.
Mm-hmm.
I met this guy on Plenty of Fish, and we were talking. And then next thing you know, I get a call from his girlfriend.
Ooh.
And
I've heard this story before, not
Yes.
from you, but from many other.
yeah, and
women,
I was like, well, did you know that your boyfriend is on Plenty of Fish? So he's actively looking for somebody. So it's not like I will tell you his profile name and everything. Like I didn't know you existed.
Yeah, crazy.
You're
That's crazy.
insane.
Well, all right. So the moral of the story: don't slide into your ex's DM
No.
with the intentions of booty calls, unless it's 2 a.m. and they start replying back to you.
Let
Then
people be happy.
let it happen. Yeah, especially
Just
if
let
you're
people be
if you're in a relationship, like leave that alone
Yeah.
type deal. If you're single, whatever, want to entertain that, and you're bored and want to have fun, then do that. That's fine. But
You know what? Like, I think as you're single, it might be a little different.
what do you mean?
Well, you allow people.
It's more acceptable when you're single, I think.
Because they're like, hey, Mike, I remember when ...
Right.
Can we hang out and do that again?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, someone
Or
said that to me. I'm like,
remember
yeah,
the
well,
last time we
It's
blah,
like, what did
blah,
we
blah.
do?
Remember the
Can
last.
can you paint me a picture?
Or I never got that goodbye kiss. That they.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's cheesy. That's like high school.
A
It's like,
goodbye kiss.
no, don't say
No,
that.
I never got that goodbye.
I never got that
Dot,
closure.
dot,
I never got that closure.
I never had closure.
I need
There
that
you go.
closure.
I need
That's
that
classic.
last night.
That's
I
classic.
needed a closure right now.
Yep.
I need
Can I come
closure
over?
right now. I look at my watch. It's like 3 a.m. I'm like, all right, fine.
I want
whatever.
closure.
I want to cook.
Can
but I
you
don't wanna
close
cook
me
for
up?
One. Can I come over?
No.
Can you close me up?
All right, cool. Okay, we're done.
So I got an itch. Can you help me
And-
scratch it?
And we're done with this topic. Here
Hey,
we go.
Mike, come over.
Mike to
Okay.
the rescue. Super Mike.
Hungover ladies. Let's focus. Let's focus. Bring it in, guys. Bring it
Hey
in.
Mike,
Yeah.
hey Mike, I'm gonna bring my business cards over.
That was kind of grimy.
That was grimy. That was like a low blow.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
No.
I
He
know
knows
it.
why.
I know why.
Listen, let's talk about those business cards and those what are we at 1,800 new followers?
Well, that's you. That's you getting. But those are not even exes.
They're not.
They're brand new.
Andrew says they're thirst requests.
Oh, that's a,
Oh, that's nice.
I like that.
I like that.
The thirst request.
They're 90% guys.
I
Not
delete them.
flattered though. It's cute, but yeah.
Every time I see somebody and our mutual friend is an artist, I delete. Delete.
Delete it.
Well, I'm the networker of the group, so yeah. I've got what?
Delete.
Oh my god.
You can like my Val's Bites page.
But what's hilarious is that has brought on the most influx of Revenge of the X ever, which is what brought this topic on.
Oh, yeah.
Because the influx of popularity and then just the sheer like capacity of it all, and it was a lot, like all at once. But
happened all at one time.
all of it's coming through my DMs, and so I was kind of being dismissive. But then I was like, wait, I know that name, and then I read the message, and I'm like, but why? And then I read another one, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yo, you look so pretty in this picture. What show were you at? And I was just like, okay, this is okay.
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate. That's all. They're trying to get that money. But that's cool. Hey, when we come back, and if you're on Facebook or whatnot, chime in the conversation. We'll read some comments in a little bit. If you have any stories that were pretty amazing when it comes to Revenge of the X, then let us know. Slide into our DMs, and we'll go ahead and read your comments on air. When we come back, though, we're going to have a special exclusive interview with the one and only V.Rose. If you've never heard of V.Rose, go ahead and check her out. She's on Facebook. She's on Spotify, on iTunes. She has a new single out called SOS. We've been blasting it nonstop this week on our social media. So go ahead and check her out. She'll be here at the top of the hour at 11 a.m. So just tune in, hang out with us, chat with us on Facebook, or listen to us while you're on that TuneIn app or locuraradio.com. And we'll be right back in a minute. Enjoy.
Racklaw! 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 Call 813-748-3373. That's R-A-K Racklaw! Exclusive.
Yo, what up, Locura fam? This is DJ Sam Wise in the building. We're on Locura Radio Show. We have the one and only V.Rose with us. How you doing, V?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Welcome. You're on Locura Radio Show. How you doing?
Good. Thank you guys for having me.
No, definitely. We've been playing your single for the past week on our social media. We're super excited to have you on. Thank you. Where in the part of this world are you right now?
So I actually am from Sacramento, California, so I'm literally at home right now.
Oh, nice.
Aww. Oh my God, so you're waking up super early to talk to us. We love you. Thank you.
It's like 8 a.m.
Well, actually, I've been on radio shows that are way earlier than this for me on the East Coast, so this is great that we could do 11 a.m. your time.
Yay.
My time. And I usually wake up at like 7 anyway, so this is normal.
You gotta love Orlando and their brunch. Orlando loves their brunch hour.
Yeah.
So, V, talk to us a little bit about your single. What is it about? What inspired you to make it?
Yeah, so SOS, my new single, I don't know, it's just like starting to write new music. I became independent at the beginning of the year. For the first time in my career, I'm completely indie. So it's like all on me now. So I was like finding music and started writing to that. And I really, when I write, I talk about the stuff that I'm going through or that I've been through. So I always pull from my own experiences. And SOS really just talks about the period in my life recently where I was constantly praying and asking God to like do this certain thing over and over and over again, and then I didn't hear a response. And so I was so frustrated. I was like sending out these distress signals, SOS, SOS. And then I finally just stopped praying for God to, could you do this thing for me? And I started asking like, okay, God, just have your way, do your will. And that was really what I needed, was to sort of crash and burn and figure out like, God is not here to serve me. I'm here to serve him. So in the bridge, I kind of say, you don't know what you'll be missing when you don't listen. And that's really true because, You know, sometimes we can get so wrapped up in like things going on in our life that we forget that God wants a relationship with us. He's not just there for us to like throw all of our complaints on, but he wants to have a relationship back with us as well. So
that's amazing.
In a nutshell, that's what it's about.
That's really true. It's God's timing, not your timing.
Now, there's a noticeable difference I've noticed in the evolution of your sound, kind of like album after album. You sound different. You sound it's I don't know if it's your message or whatnot, but do you feel that you've changed or evolved as an artist as well? I mean, over this whole process, over the few years.
Oh, definitely, and thank you for that. Yeah, I think every album, I definitely mature vocally because it's something I really focus on, and just, you know, I think everybody tries to always get better, especially with my writing. I spent a lot of time studying music and working with other writers and stuff to get better at the way that I format songs. And if you listen to my earlier albums, I grew up listening to gospel music, so a lot of the formats sort of favor that way.
Yeah.
And then I got into pop music, listening to pop music, and then I started learning to write in a pop style. And of course, I have very like soulful R&B voice. And so there's days where I wake up and I'm like, I have no idea what style I even want to write in today. And I think that's why my albums can sound very eclectic or versatile. And I don't know, I think I'm really grateful that I can go from singing gospel song or a ballad to singing something sort of hip hop like SOS and pop. So
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely always try to get better and progress as I get, as I go on.
I mean, I'm definitely a fan of SOS. Like, I actually bump it in my car all the time. So that's not.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah. Now you actually mentioned that it's interesting. You're in an interesting position right now, being an independent artist, of course, in the beginning of the year, and also being a Christian artist, all in one. How has that experience been for you?
How's that what?
That experience. How has that been for you?
Well, being independent is something that I don't know, I think I was gearing towards it because I do a lot of the work, I would say, even with labels. Like, I'm more so partnered with labels, so I still was doing the creative directing. I was, very hands-on, writing the music, picking out what it's going to look like, and sort of directing where we're going to spend the budget and do what we're going to do. So I think now I'm just sort of alone and building my own team that I will direct, but at the same time, I think so a lot has changed in the sense that, yes, I don't have a label backing me, and I think in Christian music, because I've built a fan base, that it can work for me. And I'm really in a place in my heart where I just want to be able to do whatever God puts on my heart. When I wake up today, what does God want me to sing about? What does God want me to do? Does God want me to even put out music right now?
Yeah.
And so I've been going through this season of like really trusting God and allowing God to lead me. And I think that's like the best feeling that I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Is not having to report back to anybody but God. And I don't know if in the future if I will sign with another label or what the future holds, but I know right now this is definitely a season God has me in, and it's really been a season of growth for me to sort of have.
All right. Hey, V, we're going to get right into yours.
I think we lost her. Yeah, that's okay.
All right, guys, we're going to get into her single, and then we're going to get back with V.Rose in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll reconnect. But listen to her single, SOS, right now.
SOS, 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 I'm not okay. Don't know what to say. Don't you hear me pray? SOS, 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 I'm not okay. I don't wanna sing, so I'll send another prayer. Thought I knew the code, sent up a signal, coming up for air again, shooting off a flare again. You hear me, you're na-na-na, Jamaica, ma-ma-ma-ma. I'm praying for land again, with all of my hair in hand. Really, that's word to the faith that I lost, to the way that I was lost. You died on the cross, and there I was trying to play the boss. Like, can't you bless all my moves? Can't you make all my moves move? That's how you lose. SOS, 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 I'm not okay. Don't know what to say. Don't you hear me pray? SOS, 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 I'm not okay. I don't wanna sing, so I'll send another prayer. Calling your name. I guess I was thinking maybe that I had some say in how you was saving me. Silent, but you still stay with me. And I see now how you was changing me. Cause I sent my distress, and those waves were the test. Cause I needed to wreck, I needed to wreck. And you needed me to know that I ain't rowing the boat, and I'm not running the show, and I needed to grow. You don't know what you'll be missing when you don't listen, when you don't listen. You don't know what you'll be missing when you don't listen. Signal my distress. SOS, 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 I'm not okay. Don't know what to say. Don't you hear me pray? SOS, 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 I'm not okay. I don't wanna sing, so I'll send another prayer.
Hey, Locura fam, this is DJ Sam Wise. That was SOS by V.Rose. V, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Hey, so quick question for you. What type of music are you listening to right now? On your iPad or iPod? What does that look like?
Let me think about that. It's weird. I literally just opened my title and I'm like, whatever my best friend was listening to. I just sort of like backpack. She's an artist as well, so she studies music and she'll send me stuff. I'm really into R&B, like I said, so I'm always looking for like vocalists, I guess. It's weird because I don't have specific artists right now that I'm listening to. I'm more so, really, I'm working on music right now, so I'm not listening to a bunch right now.
I got you.
I'm trying to think who I really like. I don't know. Come back.
We'll
around.
come back to that.
I'll come back to that.
Hey, we noticed that you are right now. Well, not right now because you're at home, but you're currently on the road on the Young Messengers tour with Young Noah. How has that experience been as touring? Is this your first tour, or have you been out before this?
Oh, well, I mean, I've been touring for like the past 8 years or so.
Yeah, okay.
So I tour every year, but this is our first. I would say this is our first tour together, kind of. Obviously, we got signed to the same record label years ago. So that's how we met. And then we were touring with Flame for quite a while, and then this is our first tour that we put together, and it's really been amazing.
Yeah.
We wanted to do sort of an outreach tour where we could, almost come at cost to come to these places and just speak to whoever they put in front of us. And our ideal audience is like youth groups, because we want to talk about what we have experienced through our young adult life, teenage life, young adult life, and how God has been with us through all those situations and what that's looked like, and just really give some encouragement back to the young believers who are getting ready to face a lot of the stuff and go on their own journey, but face some of the stuff that we face. And so it's really been amazing because it's been a different demographic everywhere we've gone, and God has really just been able to use us to say different things. So we don't really know what we're going to say till we get there, and we just sort of like whoever's in front of us just speak to the people in front of us. So of course we're doing music, and I think young Noah and I are getting ready to do a song or something together.
Okay.
Hopefully, so
That'd be awesome.
you heard it here first. But
Yeah. And we noticed you released that.
Busy, so
We noticed you released that remix yesterday. Was it with
Roy Tosh?
Roy Tosh, yeah, that was awesome. I love that song too. Yeah,
yes.
that's on my playlist right now.
Yeah, Roy's awesome. He's a hustler, man.
Yeah.
He's always working on something. So, he's really done such an amazing job pushing that single as well. And then, yeah, if you haven't heard the remix, check it out. It's really fun. It's giving new life to the song, Stronger.
Yeah, for sure. Roy Tosh is such a humble guy too. I see him all the time in here in Orlando.
Yeah.
And
you were just here in Orlando, weren't you, V.Rose?
I was just out there.
Yeah.
What was I doing out there? Oh, the Young Messenger store.
It was over here. Like, what was I doing there?
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse, Disney? No, the tour.
I just got off the road. So I was on the road for like almost a month.
Wow.
So days just start to run together, and you don't even remember what you were doing yesterday because you were in a whole different state.
Yeah.
And for a whole different reason, So it really happened. So.
That's awesome. What was your favorite part of Orlando, of the city?
Well, I was actually out there earlier this year, and I got to go to, what's the park like downtown with the swan?
Oh, Lake Eola.
Lake Eola.
Yeah.
Yes, Lake Eola. So I got to go there with some friends of mine, Cicely and Jonathan Long, and that was cool because I actually sat like a foot away from a swan. I just kept inching over so I could get a picture.
Did you feed the swan?
People were like, I can't believe it didn't like try to attack you. And I
Yeah.
was like, it could tell that I wasn't dangerous, you guys. Okay.
That's what it was.
So
It felt your vibe. Y'all felt each
But-
other like, no, we're not here to fight. It's okay. All love. All love.
Yeah, Orlando's beautiful though. I think it's like I call it the second California.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys have no respect for that, but
No, I respect that.
It's warm, it's beautiful, so I love it.
That's awesome. Oh, V.Rose, we appreciate your time here this morning, I should say. We love your music. We play it all the time here on the radio, and we love your vibe that you're giving off. Before we let you go, where can we find you and get more information about V.Rose and that tour?
Yeah, if you're looking for me on social media, you can find me at V.Rose Music. That's my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm not on Snapchat anymore these days because I don't know why. It's just gone. And, yeah, thank you guys for having me on the show this morning. It's been really fun.
Thank you, V.Rose. We appreciate you. And we're going to get into some music real quick, and when we come back, we'll get into our next topic. Thanks again, V.Rose. We love you.
Thanks, V.
Bye. Take care.
Oh, hey, Frank Rose here. If you're like me, you drive around a lot. And sometimes when you're driving, it gets pretty lonely. You know what I do? I hop over onto iTunes, download Locura Radio Show, and enjoy the company. We're also on Google Play and Stitcher. So, hey, doesn't matter what kind of phone you have. You can listen to us, and we'll listen to you. Because that's what friends do. Enjoy.
Yo, what up, Locura fam? This is DJ Sam Wise, and I'm here with Mike, Val, and Reese in the building. We're going to get into our next topic. What's that, Mike?
Our next topic, we're going to be talking about having a interesting discussion about religion versus spirituality.
Yes.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And what that means. Before we get into that, though, in case you missed it, we have the giveaway that we have, the homework survival kit. We decided to just go ahead and give it away to whoever calls in. So if you're on the road or on Facebook or whatever. First caller gets it. 407-777-0504. Once again, 407-777-0504. And this homework survival kit will be yours.
That number's rough, I know, dude. That 777 when you're trying to do it all in one. I tried when I was recording the commercial, dude. I had to do like 5 takes.
That's why you say 777-0504.
Then I feel like there's somebody gonna want to call in. They're gonna be like, "Where's the 777?
Where's the 777 button?" It's not. It's like no. You hit it 3 times.
There's no button that's 777.
It says 777.
Triple siete.
Oh, God.
Now he has his numbers in a row.
Yay, Sam!
I mean, when they're right in front of me, obviously.
Right. Last week they asked him to translate, and he got he kept mixing up the numbers.
He was like
it was like
dyslexic.
he was like dyslexic.
With the
and then they gave me the
numbers.
microphone and became like the translator for the day.
And no, you were only there for 1 segment.
No,
and
but
then they got a professional one in there.
No, my Spanish is
they
not that
shipped
great.
somebody straight from the island.
No,
here.
what happened was I was pulled to the side, and then people kept pulling me to ask for different prizes.
Because she was the most Hispanic person there.
Apparently.
Wow.
I was
out of our group.
Out of the group.
Yeah.
Santo.
Yeah, DJ Samwise playing.
He couldn't. He was like mixing up the
cha-cha
numbers, all
slide.
dyslexic. The cha-cha slide.
Hey, man.
He's like, that's the most
Hey, we had a party.
Latin Spanish I know.
First
The
of all,
cha-cha
those
slide.
kids had a lot of fun.
They did.
They did.
It was
We
all about
did.
the kids.
This is the backpack drive we did last week.
Yeah, it
Reese
was
missed
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's okay.
All right, well,
We
let's
missed
get
you.
into our topic here, religion versus spirituality. So, do any of you ladies have any type of definition or what you think the difference is between the two, religion and spirituality? Make it quick, please. Thank you.
Make it quick.
Reese, make it quick.
Reese, make it quick.
So I fall probably into that category. I am not religious. I do not believe in religion. I am spiritual. So people oftentimes don't understand what that means. And for me, I think it means something different probably to everybody. But for me, it's I don't classify myself as a Christian. I don't believe in Christianity. I don't believe in being a Baptist or a Pentecostal or a Catholic or like any of that. I think at the end of the day, it's a book, and it's been translated 10,000 times over. And like Val just said, we lose things in translation from English to Spanish. Now magnify that by, 50 or 60 different languages over the course of thousands of years. Things get lost. I think people get really caught up in religion and forget the message. They forget the moral of those stories in that book. They forget the lessons that God tried to leave behind for us so that we could be good human beings. And they get really caught up in the word for word when that's not the point. My grandmother, when I was a kid, used to say, the devil can quote every word of the Bible, and twist it in any way he wants. That's not the point. Anybody can pick and choose a line, a scripture, a sentence, and twist it to suit their need or their purpose of their conversation. The moral is not in that one sentence. The moral is in the story. So for me, I believe in a personal relationship with God. I probably pray more than most Christians I know. I have conversations with God on the way home, on randomly cleaning. Like I'm more of a, you are your biggest supporter and vessel, right? So you are the most important person who can facilitate your relationship with God, not a pastor, not a preacher, not anybody. You can have people who have similar faith, similar beliefs. Not that I'm knocking anybody who's Christian. Let me be very clear. I just choose to hold myself to a higher standard and hold myself more responsible for my relationship with God than a religion. And so spirituality versus religion for me is just that. It's, I believe in God and I believe in my relationship with God. I don't believe that any man holds any power over that or more responsibility over that than I do myself. So.
Gotcha. Sam, do you have something to ask
Yeah.
that, or your personal
So
experience?
when it comes with me, when it comes to that type, when it comes to religion versus spirituality, I don't believe in religion myself. It is man-made. God in the Bible doesn't state you're a Catholic, you're non-denominational, you're this, you're that, you're this. He says we are all men and women of God.
Right.
But when it does come, so I don't like to classify myself as that. I do call myself a Christian because a lot of people recognize that with that, so they don't see things a certain way. So you're, instead of just explaining it every time, I'm a Christian. So I believe in God. I believe in what the Bible says. I believe that every lesson that's in there, everything that God has spoken is for a reason. I mean, I think that for me personally, it's the only book that I can honestly read and read the same verse 20 different times and get a different meaning or a different God speaks to me a different way every single time. And I think that's something special. And me personally, I've gone through things in life, and just here being an indie Jamz, to be honest with you, with this show, that it's something from God that has brought us here. So and he opened the doors for us to come here. So it's definitely, there's certain things in my life that make me believe that God is real. So that's my opinion on that.
I think that like what defines like maybe whether or not you're Christian is whether or not you believe Christ is the Savior. That's being Christian, because you have non-denominational churches that you go to, and you're able to, you're able to go there and come as you are and just like embrace the feeling that you go into there. Because I mean, I was raised Catholic, so I was raised with the stand up, sit down, the very regimented rules and regulations and all that stuff. And then my husband introduced me to a non-denominational church, and I was never the same. Like my feeling towards God and spirituality and all that, like it was never the same, because I thought that church was somewhere where it was boring. It was I knew when to stand up, the prayers, the process of the church. But you go to a non-denominational church and you just feel the spirit in you. It's just different. So for me, like, I think spirituality has a lot to do with whether or not you believe there's a higher being, and whether or not you believe that something has control over whatever goes on in the world, as opposed to believing there's a God. Because I mean, every religion has some sort of God, whether there's more than one God or if there's just one God. But if you talk about like Judaism, you talk about Islam, they both believe in the same God. They just have different stories.
I think, which is funny you say that, because the Muslim Quran has a lot of similar stories to.
They just have a different prophet. That's it. I think it's
just
Abraham.
A different prophet, yeah. And it frustrates me. Like, I think one of my frustrations with religion and people who claim to be religious is it's very easy to be a cafeteria style Christian or a cafeteria style Muslim, or any religion for that matter. People tend to pick and choose what they believe and what they hold to, and how they hold other people accountable to their standards rather than holding themselves. And so one of the most ignorant things I heard earlier in the month was somebody said, well, Muslims don't believe in the same God we do, and neither do Jewish people. And I just had to laugh, because the ignorance of that, they do believe in the exact same God. They just have different stories. They just have a different prophet. But it's all of God. And I think if people took 2 seconds to understand that if God was standing here, if he was with us, would you still say those same ignorant things? Would you still treat his people and his kids and all of each other? Would we still treat each other the same, regardless of religion or race or anything else? And if the answer is no, then, and you truly have God in your heart, then you have some serious soul searching to do before you go and preach to somebody else about anything.
Well, I mean, the Bible talks about being humble and like, and not judging. The only person in the world that can judge is God. So why are you judging?
Exactly.
That's not true.
Well, he judges you when you go to the gates.
And here's the thing. Hold on.
I just don't believe people should judge anybody.
Nope, because the Bible says nobody should judge.
Exactly.
Hold on.
Here we go.
Grease that up.
Here we go.
So, yeah, I mean, you can't pick and choose, but you got to see what that verse also states and break that apart. Right?
Break it apart. Let's do it, because that's my favorite part. Go.
Okay. So that's fine. So
she's awake.
So I was talking about, I was in church a few weeks ago, and we were talking about this, right? Not to judge, not to judge others, right? And I believe, and I truly believe this, you cannot judge somebody who doesn't believe in God. I 100% believe that. I believe that if I'm a Christian and I believe in God and I have God in my heart, and you're telling me, well, I don't believe in God at all, this and that. Okay, well, that's your opinion. That's fine. I'm not going to judge you or tell you that you're wrong and just beat you down, because God tells us that we need to love that person and love them 100%. But if you're telling me that you are a Christian, right, and you believe in God, and you're doing the same thing and judging other people and doing that and not showing love and doing that, I can judge you. And I can tell you, hey, listen, I'm going to check myself first and say, hey, am I doing exactly what this person's doing? And if I'm not, I'm going to fix myself if I'm doing that.
You can't fix a right. Well, you can't fix a wrong by doing wrong. If somebody's being not a quote-unquote good Christian by judging somebody, who are you to turn around and then judge them?
Right. Because here's the thing. You're keeping somebody accountable.
That's different than judging.
Well,
calling somebody on their BS is not judging. If I act an ASS and I make a fool of myself, and Val looks at me and goes, "Yo, calm down. That wasn't okay. Yeah, that wasn't okay. Don't do that." Then it's up to me to then say, you know what, you're right, or I disagree, or whatever, and then I have to hold myself accountable. She's not judging me. She loves me, and she's telling me, listen, I don't think what you do, this wasn't cool, or this hurt me, or whatever. Right. But she's not judging me. She's being a loving friend by saying, this, to me, you hurt me, this wasn't okay. And then it's up to me to be a loving person and recognize that and humbly apologize or say, I don't agree with you. But if I don't agree with her, she's got to respect my opinion. I got to respect hers, and we got to move on. So that's not judgment.
So a quick question, though. That's not judgment now, right? But who's to say that that's not judgment back then, you know? When he was talking about it in that verse, like, you know, remember this, like you said earlier. This book was translated 10 million times, right?
Exactly.
So you never know what exactly what that means.
Well,
so
that's
like
why the moral of the story is more important than the words. He sat amongst adulterers, rapists, thieves, a prostitute, and he ate and broke bread and drank wine with all of them equally. He walked amongst them. He prayed with them, prayed for them. He did all of that with everybody equally. And if that's not showing you love through action, it doesn't matter what the rest of one line of a story says. The point of the story was that he did all of that with zero judgment and nothing but love in his heart. And that's why I hate religion right there, is you take that sentence and you focus on a sentence, but you miss the complete moral of the story and what he did.
Okay. But I wasn't disagreeing with it. I mean,
all right, now you're retracting what you're saying.
I'm not. All I'm saying is that.
No, he was talking about accountability. I understand what Sam is saying. Yeah, I mean, people. It's a very fine line right now between
judgment and accountability.
And judgment. I mean, people right now can keep people accountable on the daily basis. I'm not even talking about religion. I'm talking about on the daily. You got the KKK running around nowadays. You got all these people, and people want to be on their horse and be like, you know, I'm not judging them. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but you have to hold that type of behavior accountable as well, and not necessarily judging that person. Let's be honest. I'm going to be honest with everybody in this room. We all judge each other in one way, shape, or form, whether you want to admit
human
it
nature. We're human,
or not.
Exactly.
It's part of it. What happens is you have to make sure that judgment that you're passing down is not judgment, that it is accountability, constructive criticism, things like that on the daily. So I think that's what Sam was talking about in accountability, and I think it was just a church thing, you know, and that's the whole thing with church. Like, I don't personally go to a church here in Orlando. I used to go to a non-denominational church, like in New York, in Hillsong, and I think religion focuses a lot more on dogmas, on what the institution is, that practical nature of that, while spirituality focuses more as like your inside on who you are. It's more internal than that external
your heart,
focus
your
on
soul,
that.
Your
and
intentions,
and for me, I have a personal relationship with God in my own way.
Right.
I pray to Him on my own, you know, when I want to, when I need to, which is like every day, basically, because we're not perfect. But that whole thing with religion, you get a lot of people that are judgmental in church. Sam and I, we went to the same church at one time, and we could tell you probably stories of people that just, I mean, as soon as you come in the door, are immediately judging you, and not even an accountability way, just like, oh, look at what they're wearing, look at how they're dressing, look at how they're acting, look at, you know, what they're doing.
I think one of my issues with religion is it gives people an excuse to not make judgments for themselves, not make decisions for themselves. I struggled a lot even just over the last few years, because trying to find a church before I finally came to grips with and to terms with the fact that I'm not going to find a church, nor am I going to continue to look. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I went to a church where, and this was like the last straw for me. I went to a very well-known church in Orlando that my somebody very close to me had been a part of forever. And this pastor got up and was having a sermon. And it was a predominantly white church, but there were a few Hispanic and black people there. And he starts to say how, like, Muslims and Jews don't believe in God, and that he feels like white people get a bad rap because they can't say what they want. They're constantly uncomfortable because when they're around other minorities.
Oh, well, see, that's a whole...
That's a different story.
That's a whole racism thing, man.
Excuse me.
That's what that is. That's not even... Because you think about the institutions right now that are in place, you know, whether it's the KK, the organization type deal, they're based on a Christian religion. They consider themselves, you know, or the Westboro Baptist people, they consider themselves as religious in that institution. So I think that's a whole deeper issue on that.
Every church you go to has
that was that nobody in the church blinked because pastor said. So that's my point with religion is people give a pastor or somebody else that control rather than picking up a book and reading themselves. That was my point.
I don't think everybody does, because I've been in that type of situation, that type of church where we're looking at each other like, huh? Or we go back to lunch or to dinner and we're like, you know, I mean, I like the church and I love the worship and stuff like that, but what he said here, like, I don't agree with that. And that's okay to question that. I think that's the point of the religion versus spirituality debate. You know?
So when we're talking about this in general, I find a lot of people putting Christianity in a box in a lot of things, right? And that's something that I kind of don't appreciate. You know, like when I try to say an opinion, they're like, well, they automatically just say, hey, I'm not going to go to this church, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that because it's too judgy, it's too this, it's too that, and then they end up judging me as a person. And I just hate that because I strongly believe, yes, there's a lot of bad churches out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad people out there in general, whether you're a Christian or you're not. But there are a lot of good people out there as well, you know, that genuinely care, that genuinely want to, like my church, you know, we congregate in a elementary school. We're a non-debt church. My pastor is a school teacher, you know, and everything the congregation pays for is the speakers and the rent and everything else, and that's literally where everything goes from, you know. So I can honestly say I love where I congregate because it's literally what the Bible preaches, what God preaches, you know. Just, hey, the church, we follow up with you, we love you, we care about you, you know, and it's on that personal level.
Yeah,
know?
That's the difference. I think when we say we have a relationship with God, it's not like I have this religious relationship with God. No, it's more I have this spiritual and personal relationship with God. So I think that's where that difference is. You know, the religion, like you said, is man-made. It's more of that type of scenario, where spirituality is you're looking inside yourself. And if, you know, you can't, I'm a firm believer in like the golden rule and throwing stones at yourself before you throw it at other people. So, you know, I think before people go out there and judge people, I have family members that do this, you know, to myself personally. And, you know, I'm like, I'm family. Like, no matter what, I'm going to love on you, and I love you as my family and how I'm supposed to, and I will treat you the way that I want to be treated, and that's how every day I live. But a lot of people don't live that way, and that's another issue. That's a whole thing that, you know, at the church that Reese visited, where you have that pastor kind of preaching that rhetoric, that's the religion, that's the dogma, and then everybody just goes with it because it came from the guy on the pulpit.
Right.
But I find myself, I get better sometimes spiritual advice from conversation with just friends or just, you know, people I'm hanging out with than I would in a pulpit, just because people are more in touch with that. And a lot of my friends that are amazing people are not religious people. They're like, I'm spiritual, and they have the golden rule that they live by and whatnot. And a lot of times those people, I gravitate more towards them than anyone that I would at church.
It's all about having a good heart.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And having some type of belief system. I think everybody has to believe in something.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I found myself, like, you know, getting into, I don't know if you ever read The Secret or saw The Secret or anything like that. I just find that there's a lot of stuff that is taught at church that are in line with those ideals. You know, positive thinking, praying on it, putting that message out there, letting, making that message live. Because when you speak it, then you speak truth into it. Loving yourself and treating people the way you want to be treated. And that's essentially, that's how I live.
Yeah.
I just love people.
I just think it's funny, in general, away from, this topic, in general, we talk about love, right? Mm-hmm. And loving each other and being with each other. And I was actually in Publix yesterday with my mom.
I love their chocolate chip cookies.
Dude, amazing. She was getting a sub for her husband, and it's in Windermere. It's in a really nice area, and this guy was yelling at the sub lady because she asked him what type of bread it was. Wasn't it on the online order? And I was just and I sat back and I was just all these people go on social media and say, hey, we gotta love each other, but in that moment, check yourself. Why are you yelling over a piece of bread? You know what I mean?
Oh, I like that.
And it's just people talk about with the whole Pulse nightclub thing, love, love, love. Well, why don't we love every minute of the day, not just when there's a tragedy happening?
Oh, that was a whole nother thing too. With Pulse, when that happened, all these churches, non-denominational, Catholic, whatever, everybody who's religious came together and they were like, oh, we gotta love on these people, we gotta love on the community, and this and that. But then the next month, they're over there on the pulpit preaching about, oh, God hates the gays, blah blah, the same in the same breath. Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't agree with that.
And it wasn't just judging. It was just one of those that, my mom, she's not religious at all because of what happened to her, but she copped an attitude, oh, well, there's an open line right here, to the people in front of her. I'm just I had to check her and be like, hey, are you serious?
Yeah.
I will walk out of here right now and not get your husband a sub because this is ridiculous.
Sometimes those the white privilege areas.
Dude,
what's going on,
man,
bro?
It's bad, man. And
you
I
seen
literally
the purge,
dude. When I literally went up to the sub lady, I'm like, hey, listen, I apologize for that guy.
Everybody, yeah.
You know what I mean? Here you go, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I ended up buying her a sub because I felt so bad. Yeah. But yeah, man, just show love, guys.
Show love. All right, guys. Well, we went into that topic a long time, but that was good. That was a good topic. I like that. We got some good feedback from that. If you have any experiences with religion and spirituality and you want to comment or send us a message, go ahead and do so. We could look at those and come back to them later on, maybe on next week's show or whatnot. But thank you guys for joining us today. Did you guys have a good show, mostly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? You got
it
some Mountain Dew,
it was
got
fun.
some water?
It was so much fun.
I love being here with you guys. It's awesome.
Oh, we love you. Group hug, everybody.
Group hug. No, we're going to take some IVs now.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna no IVs. I don't like needles.
Y'all need some IVs. All right, guys. Well, listen, go ahead. If you're not visiting our website, we have show replays there, so all the shows that you might have missed earlier. You can shop our merchandise, including that Enjoy shirt that Sam was rocking earlier this week at his event. How was that event, Sam, by the way?
It was amazing.
It was good.
It was great. A lot of fun. It was for a youth group. I'll invite you guys out next time when it's actually an indoor thing.
So. Oh, yeah. It was hot. I can't be doing no outdoor stuff. Yeah.
They had Jeremiah's Ice out there, bro.
Oh, Jeremiah's.
Dude.
That's
Jeremiah.
That sounds good right now.
Yeah. All right, and make sure also on the website that you are submitting your music to us. If you are an independent artist out there or non-independent and just want to go ahead and see if you get your music on there, go ahead and submit on locuraradio.com. There's a link that says on the top of it, on the banner, says, are you an artist, I believe. Click that. There's an artist submission form. You can also email us at info@locuraradio.com to submit your music, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. We have a lot of open space that's available for you to go ahead and submit your music, so go ahead and do that. Also, you can watch and listen live every Saturday morning on our website, locuraradio.com, or our behind-the-scenes shenanigans, as we like to call them, on Facebook Live. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Locura Radio. And if you are listening to us on our podcast replay later on or right now on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, go ahead and rate, review, subscribe to us, and you'll get our shows as soon as they come out, which is pretty quickly. Anything you guys want to add or
No,
plug?
I think you covered it.
Covered it.
If you're
Go,
wa-
Mike.
If you're watching us on Facebook Live right now, you couldn't hear the interview with V.Rose. Go
Yes.
ahead and listen to us on our replay. So.
Yeah, we didn't have it connected on there on Facebook, but if you go to our replay on locuraradio.com or our podcast, you can hear the entire interview in its entirety. I'll go ahead and try to upload the...
follow V.Rose, at
stuff on
V.Rose.
at
That's
V.Rose.
V-R-O-S-E.
Yeah, we appreciate her being on the show, too.
She
That
didn't
was
do like a cool thing. Or it's just V.Rose.
At V.Rose. That's it.
That's easy.
All right, guys. We love you. Stay blessed out there. Be safe. And we will see you guys next week.
Next week.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Locura Radio Show. Make sure you check out all of our crazy episodes by subscribing to us on iTunes. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to Locura Radio Show on YouTube for exclusive video content and show replays you definitely don't want to miss. For more info and all of the content, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Be sure to rate and review us. We are Locura, the radio show with good vibes, crazy talks, and positive music.